Alright, y'all, welcome back to the All Sports Pass Podcast West. I'm your host, Youth, and tonight, of course, I'm recording this on a Thursday. I do not know any teams that play on a Thursday this week, so we got round 2 of the playoffs. Some teams have advanced, some teams have not. But before I get into all of those games, I'm going to talk about Tennessee real quick. Obviously, this is the week for the West Channel to talk about Tennessee. We were on a bye last week, but the week before where we played Oklahoma, we did not get the job done. More information on that will be explained on the North Channel. But this Saturday at 4:15, the Vols did an up-8 game of New Mexico State. Now, what's interesting to me about this opponent, we've never played them. This is a personal statement. When I was following football in 2016, I thought this was just a rejected Texas A&M. That's the first game I ever watched Tennessee football was Texas A&M. They were the Aggies, and so was New Mexico State. And I believe that year Texas A&M did play New Mexico State, so I see it as an interesting opponent for obviously Tennessee to play New Mexico State, which is also why I'm going to this game. I will be at the Tennessee versus New Mexico State game. There will be footage on both channels. Shorts version on the North Channel, full version on the West Channel. So yeah, it'll be very exciting for me to go to this game. It's the 5th year in a row that I'll be going to a Tennessee game. I went to Pittsburgh in 21, UT Martin 22, South Carolina 23, Mississippi State 24, and now New Mexico State in 2025. Notice how the last two were states. But yeah, obviously, very interesting matchup for Tennessee. It's up 8 games, so obviously, people would expect Tennessee to win. In my opinion, if New Mexico State still had the Pavia, by the way, is the quarterback advantage, New Mexico State would have actually had a legit shot to somehow upset Tennessee. They don't. They're 3-6. And as a result, I do have Tennessee winning this game by at least 30 points or more. Unless the defense doesn't do their thing. As I notice, the defense has been doing the exact same thing they've been doing, like tackling the legs. So that will be like a 21-plus point game if that happens. But I do have Tennessee winning in a very significant margin. So first, we were going to talk about Farragut. Now, of course, they traveled up as Bennett once again, and the same results. However, this time, though, it went to overtime, and it didn't end till like 10:40, something like that. Yeah, I was up all night to watch this game. It took like 3 hours and 45 minutes just for this game to end because of Mother Nature. Mother Nature did everything that she could do to make these games as long as possible. However, the game continued, and Dobbins Bennett ended up winning in overtime after Farragut fumbled the ball in their first drive. So, of course, Farragut's eliminated from the playoffs once again in the hands of Dobbins Bennett in their place. Just feels like it's a worse season for Farragut. Farragut had 4 wins last year. This year, they have 3. Obviously, it was all district wins for Farragut this time, but, it's Farragut. I honestly expected this, but I expected better from them. I was expecting them to have like 5 wins this season. Instead, they have like 3. Kind of disappointing in the team, but starting to be a bit of questions about Jeff Courtney. All that stuff. Is he really the coach for Farragut? I'm saying he still is. He has time to improve the team and all that stuff. I'll be surprised if he leaves the team. If Farragut would be looking for a new coach, I'd be surprised about that, but I think Jeff Courtney's staying, and Farragut needs some time to improve. I'm saying that, there's going to be some new freshmen coming in, maybe some new transfers from the transfer rule. You're obviously going to get some hits from Bearden, maybe Hardin Valley, and maybe Concord. I don't know. You might lose some guys to Concord. Concord's been doing really good ever since they started their football program this year. And I see high hopes for Concord. Farragut, though, Concord's the reason why Farragut is on a downfall. Ever since they won the title in 2016, they just went downhill. But I will hope the best for Farragut here. Hopefully, they'll get 5 wins or more next season. I'm just going to div in the first 3 seconds of silence for Oak Ridge, because this is a shocking upset. Science Hill beats Oak Ridge, I believe, 35-31 in the playoffs. Oak Ridge, who was a heavy favorite to make the quarterfinals, and as maybe Maryville or something like that, eliminated in the first round at home against Science Hill. who, by the way, lost to Dobbs Bennett only by 3, and Oak Ridge dominated Dobbs Bennett. I've said Oak Ridge was going to win this game, but surprise, surprise, Science Hill was able to get it done. That's another case where, you'll never know what happens. It's high school football. And I'm shocked that Oak Ridge had to go out this early. They were the favorite to win 6A Region 2. I don't know how this happened. I think Oak Ridge was making some huge mistakes in the end of the game. They were doing very well to start, but, a huge collapse for Oak Ridge. And obviously, with the move to 6A, it's time to say it. Welcome to 6A, Oak Ridge. Though you've been there before. Have fun losing the first round every year, but that's probably not going to happen. Oak Ridge will definitely do better next year, because we're going to see some transfers for Oak Ridge. As there's a lot of stuff that's been going on within Oak Ridge football. Winning 9 games this season, almost winning the district, came up short to Maryville on a blowout. New classification. So obviously this is probably expected for Oak Ridge, but I'm still thinking they can make the quarterfinals this year coming up against Maryville. So we'll see what happens with Oak Ridge. Next up is Oliver Springs, and good news for the Bobcats, they were able to get it done. 34-18 over North Green. Huge win for Oliver Springs in the first round. This next game, though, is going to be a bit surprising, considering they would normally meet in the semifinals, but because of this new playoff implications, playoff brackets, we not get to see Oliver Springs and South Pittsburgh in the second round. That's right, South Pittsburgh has to play Oliver Springs in the second round instead of the semifinals, which is probably where the season will end for Oliver Springs. Obviously, they could have just simply met up at its Oldfield in the quarterfinals and that'd be it. Unfortunately, that is not the case, nor any of the background noises that you hear, as I am at Knoxville Abbott right now. Anyways, and they play Baylor tomorrow night, so I am doing the Tennessee game early. Yeah, the season will probably end there for Oliver Springs. I got South Pittsburgh winning, especially when they host. It's a big deal when you play South Pittsburgh, mainly in the semifinals. But in the second round, I know, just loses all the hope you have for making the quarterfinals. You don't want to face off against South Pittsburgh early. So I got South Pittsburgh winning. Now I'm going to give you 2 football teams here. And I don't have a game of the week this week because, except if you want to count this game here, Maryville and the team I'm about to say here. Maryville played Westridge at home, 141-7. Now they got to host Riverdale. What the heck? Riverdale? Normally they play a team like Oak Ridge or Bradley Central. Instead, they have to host Riverdale, who has to go 3 hours to travel to Knoxville, which is something Knoxville Abbott did to travel to the same team we're talking about here and now, Riverdale. I've seen Riverdale's team. They're an excellent football team in the 6A level. They're a very good team. They can make some noise against the Rebels, but I'm just saying that travel, that's not going to be an advantage for Riverdale. I thought Maryville winning this game. Not very easily, though. I thought this being a 10-point game. Some people are going to say, this is going to be a 20 to 30-point game. I think this is going to be a 10-point game for Maryville. Just saying, Riverdale is a very good opponent. They can beat anyone if they make no mistakes. Riverdale's just that type of team. If Riverdale haven't made those mistakes against Knoxville Athletic, who's number 12 in max clubs in the state, they could have beat them. So that's why I think Maryville will only win by 10. However, this is a team that got unlucky because of this new playoff bracket stuff. Alcoa beat Cherokee 56-0 at home. Typical, Alcoa usually wins in the first round of the playoffs. Not when you play this Cherokee, but then again, 4A, Alcoa, big deal. They got to travel to Upperman. I am not joking. Alcoa, in an odd year, 2025, where Region 2 would usually host, since Alcoa did not win their region, they now got to travel to Upperman. Yeah. Strange matchup for Alcoa. They got to travel in the second round of the playoffs. That has not happened in a long time, but Alcoa's due to see those things. And Upperman's a really good 4A team. I still have Alcoa winning by 14-17, though. Upperman is just like Riverdale. They can make noise against these big teams, Especially when I believe they won their region. I don't cover National Ball, except for Division II. It's Knoxville halfway. I might start covering them in a bit. And if I do, I gotta talk about all these other teams. Answorth, CPA, Whipstone Academy, Holly, Baylor, all those teams. So, Upperman is one of those teams. And they're not going to be a far of a travel. Upperman's only in the Hopeville area. Riverdale's in the Murfreesboro area. We talked about Maryville. But Upperman's only in the Hopeville area. So this is going to be as long as a travel as Bearden is to Cleveland. So not that bad of a travel if, 2 years ago, Alcoa had to travel to Ravenwood. So Alcoa has definitely gone through this before. So that's why I think they're winning by 17 instead of 7 points. But then again, you'll never know what will happen. It's high school football. Now, this is a team I didn't talk about today, West High School. Obviously, it'll be covered on the North Channel, but they were eliminated in the playoffs by Civic County, so that'll be it for West. Anyways, this is the All Sports Past Podcast West. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the North Channel too. It will really help us out. Your host, Youth, signing out. And no Vols.